If you have leftover Pesach, Korban Pesach, after Chatzot, you become tamei. Ready? It makes your hands tamei. Why? The Gemara understands from Chatzot already the Korban Pesach is notar. You had to finish it beforehand. After that, you're not allowed to eat it, and it is no longer a Korban. Mantana, the Gemara asks, who is this Mishnah like? Amar Rav Yosef, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. It is obviously Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. Does anyone recognize him? Right? Amar Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, Harei ani keven 70 shana v'lo zachiti shetamar yitziat Mitzrayim baleilot. Okay, this is the same Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah that we mentioned in the Haggadah, talking about Leil HaSeder and saying Shema, the last parsha on Shema v'yitziat Mitzrayim at night. Right? Detanya, what does he say? V'achlu ta basar balayla hazeh. You have to eat the basar balayla hazeh. Right, the pasuk in Shmon about Yetziat Mitzrayim that they ate the original Korban Pesach at night. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah Omer, Ne'emar kan balayla, v'ne'emar lahalan, v'avalti be'eretz Mitzrayim balayla hazeh, ma lahalan ad chatzot, af kan ad chatzot. When it says v'achlu ta basar balayla hazeh, that Am Yisrael ate the meat at night, it is not so clear what is this laila. What is this Laila? Is this Laila? Until when is it? Until what is it? Until Chatzot? Is it until the morning? And Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah says, I'll take a pasuk that says, Va'avalti be'eretz Mitzrayim b'layla hazeh. That we know that Hashem took Am Yisrael out, started taking Am Yisrael out of Mitzrayim by Chatzot. So af kanat Chatzot. We know that Am Yisrael left Mitzrayim around Chatzot. The same too, the Korban Pesach was eaten at Chatzot. Amar Rava. Achal matzah bezman hazeh achal chatzot. Anyone who ate matzah after chatzot, and according to the opinion of Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, lo yatzah yedei chavato. If you eat matzah after chatzot, according to Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, it's as if you didn't eat matzah. You didn't do the kiyum of the mitzvah of matzah. Pshita, the Gemara says, obviously, true. We know that. Dekivan de'itkish lePesach kePesach damya. We know that Pesach and matzah are similar. We know that matzah and Pesach are done together. We eat Pesach, Am Yisrael ate the Korban Pesach on matzah, right? So what is Rava saying? It's obvious. It's an obvious conclusion out of Divrei Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. So the Gemara says, no, not that clear. Right, there's another pasuk that we saw, that Shivat Yomim Tochal Matzot. You should be eating matzah for 7 days. So we have twice matzahs mentioned. Once with Korban Pesach, and another one as Chag, right? Once with Korban Pesach, with Chag HaPesach, and another time that matzah is mentioned, the mitzvah of matzah is mentioned by Chag HaMatzot. So maybe today, Bizman Hazeh, without Korban Pesach, you don't have to eat your matzah at the same time that you're eating Korban Pesach, meaning you can eat it all the way till the morning. You don't have to do it Chatzot. So the Gemara comes to teach us, Rava comes to teach us, saying no. According to Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, even Bizman Hazeh, without Korban Pesach, the matzah is so intertwined, is so connected to Korban Pesach, that we have to eat it ad chatzot, just the same as Korban Pesach was eaten ad chatzot. So here's another echo of Korban Pesach still today. Even without giving doing the Korban Pesach, we still have an echo of Korban Pesach by eating the matzah before chatzot. And the Rush brings down the minhag, not only in the Gemara, but rather in the Rishonim time period. Rabbeinu Tam would eat the afikomen before chatzot in order to have that echo of Korban Pesach, to be Mekayim Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. So anyone wants to be Mekayim that minhag this Pesach, it's a great way to echo Korban Pesach. There are other minhags, the minhagim that people do to commemorate Korban Pesach today without Korban Pesach. There's a midrash that I have over here in Megillah. Amar Avram taught, it's a midrash between Avram and Hashem. Amar Avraham lefanav, Ribbono shel olam, tenach bizman shebeit hamikdash kayam. When the Beit HaMikdash is kayam, you can be mechaper on Am Yisrael. They sin and they bring korbanot, and there's something to be mechaper on their korban, on their chataim. But bizman she'en Beit HaMikdash kayam, when there's no Beit HaMikdash, ma teheh lehem, who's going to be mechaper on their avonot? Amar lo, Hashem answers to Avram, kvar tikanti lehem seder korbanot. No worries, I have already something set up for them. Kol zman shekor'in behen, as long as Am Yisrael learn about the korbanot, ma'aleh ani alehem ke'ilu makrivim lefanai korban, umochelani al kol avonotehem. As long as Am Yisrael are still learning about the korbanot, it is as if they are giving a korban, and I am already going to be mochel on their avonot. So some people take this midrash and really sit there the whole afternoon, the whole time of Zman Korban Pesach, and they learn about Korban Pesach to be mekayim of hakravat Korban Pesach. So they're not actually going up to Beit HaMikdash, which doesn't exist currently, and giving Korban Pesach, but they learn about it. Another minhag, it's not such a known minhag, but there is a minhag that is that originates from this Yerushalmi, from a Mishnah in Pesachim. Makom shenahagu la'asot melacha be'arvei Pesachim ad chotzot osim, makom shenahagu shelo la'asot en osim. There's a minhag that is mentioned in the Mishnah. Some communities have a minhag not to do melacha on Erev Pesach. Why? What does the Gemara in the Yerushalmi explain? Ktiv, sham tizbach et Pesach be'erev, en li'elahu shlucho minayin. Talmud Amar, uveshalta v'achalta. Ma Talmud Amar, sham tizbach et Pesach be'erev, אינו בדין שתהא עסוק במלאכתך וקורבנך קרב, אבל אסור מלעשות מלאכה כהא דתני להן כל איניש, דהווה ילווה עין וביקורים. There's in Megillat Ta'ani, there's a din that says is when you bring your korbanot of etzim or bikurim, any korban that you bring, the person who brings a korban that day, it's a chag, and he shouldn't do melacha. So it's a minhag, first of all, so not every community does this. But today, the Rishonim the Achronim really talk about that this minhag isn't really existing because we don't bring Korban Pesach today. But I have seen people that are noheg not to do melacha because of this minhag to commemorate Korban Pesach on that day. But my question is, besides the time of our Kiddush, besides the time of eating Afikomen, is there any other echo of Korban Pesach throughout the evening? So I really think that there is another idea that Korban Pesach holds in it that I want to bring up, another character of Korban Pesach that still exists today. And for that, we need to understand a little bit more about Korban Pesach. The Rambam, in his Hakdama to Zvachim, explains the different types of korbanot. He divides the korbanot from the animal into two different types of categories. The first category, he calls them Olah, Chatat, Asham, Shlamim. But when he talks about the Shlamim, he mentions V'domehen. So Olah is something that goes all up to Hashem. Nothing gets eaten by a person. Chatat usually comes on a chet. Besides Chatat Yoledet, Asham comes on a chet that is a little bit more serious. V'hashlamim is something that's eaten by people, the Kohen, and also goes up to Hashem. But the Rambam adds on V'domehem, and the ones that seem like a shlamim. So what are these things that seem like a shlamim? We'll talk about that in a minute. But then the Rambam says there's another way to categorize these korbanot, and he says they go into korban tzibur, a korban that the whole tzibur bring together, and that is when the tzibur does a chet. The whole tzibur didn't know that they're doing something wrong. Korban yachid, korban tzibur ke'en korban yachid, korban yachid ke'en korban tzibur. Korban tzibur is not when they did a mistake. Korban tzibur is the olah that we bring twice a day, korban tamid. Korban yachid is when any person by himself brings a korban. Korban tzibur ke'en yachid will be when the tzibur did something wrong. The korban yachid ke'en korban tzibur. And the Rambam over there says, V'hu korban pesach sheshochet kol adam ביום 14 בניסן, כמו שנתבאר בפסחים. Right? Because a Korban Pesach, each one brings their own Korban Pesach, but everyone brings it together. It's the only Korban that everyone brings by themselves, but it's a Korban Tzibor as well. It's also brought as a Chabura. A lot of people bring it together. It's better to do it in a Chabura than one. And also, it's Doche Shabbos. Other Korbanot, only a Korban Tzibor can be Doche Shabbos, and therefore we can bring Korban Tamid every Shabbos and Chag. But a Korban Yachid you cannot bring on a Shabbat because it's not Doche Shabbos. But Korban Pesach, because it has an element of Korban Tzibor, it can be Doche Shabbos. My question that I'm raising is, where does Korban Pesach fit in the first category that the Rambam brings in? The Ola, Chatat, Asham, or Shlamim. So it seems like the Rambam thinks that the Korban Pesach falls into the category of Shlamim Vidomehem, and therefore he wrote Vidomehem, the Shlamim and the things that seem like Shlamim. And it seems like that too also when the Mishnah in Shkalim brings up Pesach and Shlamim in the same idea, meaning when someone sets aside money for a Korban, what happens, or a mitzvah, what happens with the leftover money? Can I use it for whatever I want to, or do I have to use it for something specific? So the Mishnah says, Shlamim l'shlamim, motal Pesach l'shlamim, extra money from my set aside money for Pesach, I have to bring for Korban Shlamim. So here too, it seems like Pesach is a type of Shlamim. And on that understanding, let's see about Shlamim. In Mishnah Zvachim, Perek Hey, Mishnah Zayin, Shlamim kodshim kalim, shchitatan b'kol makom ba'azara, v'ne'echal l'shnei yamim v'layla. The Shlamim, also we just read this in this week's Parsha, the Shlamim is kodshim kalim, and you can eat it 2 days and 1 night. You have 2 days and 1 night to eat it. And the next Mishnah, right after that, Mishnah Chet, talks about the Pesach. Habachol, Hamaser, VaPesach, Kodshim Kalim. They're Kodshim Kalim, because they're Shlamim-esque. Shchitatan b'kol makom ba'azara. And the Bechor Maaser can be eaten 2 days and 1 night, just like Shlamim. But the Pesach eino ne'echal ela balayla ve'eino ne'echal ela ad chatzot. The Pesach can only be eaten at night until chatzot. So this Pesach is very similar to Shlamim, but it is not eaten like a Shlamim. It only has the night. You can't eat more. The Gemara does talk about that and brings it up as like the Pesach you might have thought that you can eat it 2 days and 1 night, but it is not that way. Pesach can only be eaten at night and only for 1 night, not 2 nights, only 1 night. Why is this only 1 night? Why do we have only 1 night to eat this Korban Pesach? When we have matzah, we can eat for 7 whole days. Why is the Pesach only for 1 night? But matzah, we have 7 whole days to eat it. And Shlamim, you also have 2 days and 1 night. Why can't we eat the Pesach a little bit more than that night? Which brings me to think that it really reminds me about another Korban that also is a Shlamim, but acts differently than a Shlamim. Korban Toda, a Korban of thanks. When someone goes through something big, really, really big, and needs to give a big thank you to Hashem, such as someone who survived a big health issue, someone who walked through deserts, or went on a boat overseas, someone who just left prison. Someone like that deserves to give a real big thanks to Hashem. Today, we say Birkat HaGomel, any of those things. Someone who gave birth, someone who became healthy again, who was very sick, someone who got out of like a crazy prison story or anything like that. You say Birkat HaGomel, which is like a Korban Toda. So the Rosh puts together 2, Korban Toda and Pesach. He brings this very interesting minhag. Nahagu ha'am la'asot shalosh matzot. There's a question about why we have 3 matzahs on Pesach. But once we have the 3 matzahs on Pesach, the Rosh explains, Nahagu b'Ashkenaz u'Tzarfat la'asot mi'isaron echad zecher lelachmei todah. Before we continue reading on the Rosh, another very fascinating point about Korban Todah. Korban Todah is one of the 2 korbanot that is brought chametz. As we read this week's parsha, none of the korbanot are allowed to be chametz. You might bring bread, but it is not chametz. None of the korbanot besides shtei halechem and Korban Todah is chametz. Everything is not chametz. Nothing's chametz besides Korban Todah and shtei halechem. With the korban of Korban Todah, you bring 40 breads. You bring also the animal, but also 40 breads. 10 of those 40 are chametz. So it's very interesting that the Rosh is saying this minhag of the 3 matzahs are connected to the Korban Todah, because the Korban Todah is chametz, and the last thing we want to think about on Leila Seder is chametz. Right? Just thinking of chametz on Leila Seder is giving everyone heart attacks. Okay. We have over here, Nahagu b'Ashkenaz u'Tzarfat la'asot mi'isaron echad zecher lelachmei todah shayotze mibeit ha'asorin mavi lachmei todah v'lachmei todah ba'in megimel minim shel matzot chalot rekikin u'rebucha u'shalosh chalot osin mi'isaron echad. So he says that there's a minhag to make these 3 matzahs out of the same amount of flour that you make the lachamim of Todah. Why? Because we should bring a Todah on Pesach. Why? Because Am Yisrael just got out of Beit HaSurim. They just got out of prison, right? Am Yisrael are in prison for 200 or 400 years, and now they finally get out of the prison. They should definitely bring a Korban Todah, right? So we want to commemorate and we want to make a Korban Todah on Pesach. You can't bring a Korban Todah on Pesach because of the chametz. So we're going to make it the matzahs out of the same amount of flour that you make the lechem of the Korban Todah. The Abarbanel on his perush for the Haggadah, I did not find it anywhere, so I couldn't bring it over here on the source sheet, but it's a very interesting Abarbanel. And the Abarbanel explains on the questions of the Manishtana questions. The first question is, right, Manishtana halayla hazeh mikol halaylot, shebechol halaylot anu achlin chametz u'matzah, halayla hazeh kulo matzah. So what does the Abarbanel explain? What is the son asking? The son is asking, Father, on all the other nights, when we bring a Korban Todah, it is brought also chametz and also matzah, because 40 of breads, 10 of them are chametz, 30 of them are matzah. But tonight, when we bring our Korban Todah, what is it? It's only chametz. It's only matzah. There is no chametz. Why is that so? Where is the chametz? So we don't have an answer to that question that the Abarbanel raises. We don't have the answer. Where is the chametz? Obviously, we do not eat chametz on Pesach, but that is a good question that the son raises, or the Abarbanel raises for the son. Where is that chametz? Many people tried answering that question. The Chatam Sofer, the Beit Yishai have very interesting answers to that question. But I want us to look into the Korban Todah ourselves and maybe see, maybe we do bring a Korban Todah on Pesach without the chametz, but maybe we are bringing the Korban Todah as well. When you look at the psukim, v'zot torat zevach hashlamim asher yakriv laHashem, im al todah yakrivenu, chalot hatodah, chalot matzot belulot b'shemen, urokikei matzot meshuchim b'shemen, v'solet murbechet, chalot belulot b'shemen, achalat lechem chametz yakriv korbano al zevach todat shlamav, etc. And the last interesting pasuk, והקורבן ממנו אחד ובשר זבח תודת שלמיו ביום קורבנו יאכל לא יניח ממנו עד בוקר. When do you eat this Korban Todah? You have one day and the night until chatzot. Unlike the rest of shlamim, you have shlamim you eat for 2 days and 1 night, but the Korban Todah you eat for 1 day and night until Chatzot. In 2 days and 1 night, but it is eaten only 1 day and 1 night until Chatzot. Almost like the Korban Pesach, which is eaten at night until Chatzot, without the day, right? They're both shlamim, and their eating is a little different. The Abarbanel, in source number 10, talks about that funny time of eating, the fact they were eating Korban Toda only for 1 day and 1 night, even though it's a shlamim, and it should be eaten 2 days and 1 night. And he's also answering a question about why are there so many breads on this Korban Toda. I mean, I'm bringing a Korban Toda. How many breads can I eat, right? I'm only going to eat maybe 1 bread, not even a loaf of bread, maybe 2 slices of bread I'm going to eat out of that, right? So make 1 bread and bring my Korban. I do not need more than that. And I'm bringing 40 and only give me 1 day to eat it. That is a lot of bread to eat in 1 day. So the Abarbanel talks about that. V'hitztarchulo, and I'm going to read it inside. V'hitztarchulo 40 lechamim, 2 lechamim lelitra echad, וכך היה מספר לחמי התודה. ואם זה נשיב, גם כן למה הבדיל השם, שלמי תודה ליותם נאכלים ליום ולילה, ושאר השלמים נאכלים לשני ימים ולילה אחד, כמו שמבואר בפרשה. Right, this is his question. Why are there so many lechamim, and why is it eaten differently than any other korban shlamim? כי הנה זה היה כדי לפרסם הנס, וזה שהבעל שלמי תודה, כשהוא רואה ששלמיו אינם נאכלים אלא ליום ולילה עד חצות, הוא מזמין על שלמי תודותיו, אחיו ואוהביו ומיודעיו לאכול ולשמוח עמו. What is the person going to do? What am I going to do that? I have a Korban Toda with 40 breads. What am I going to do with all that? I'm going to invite all my neighbors and all the people that I like, and I'm going to have them all over. And not only that, but they're going to ask me, why did you invite me for this Seudat Hodaya? V'yishalu zeh zeh al ma hayat todato. What are you so thankful to? V'hu yagid lahem hanisim v'haniflaot she'asa imo Hashem. And then they're going to ask him, why did you invite us? What happened to you that you're so happy that you're bringing a Korban Toda and you're inviting us all to eat from your Korban and your breads? והוא יגיד להם הניסים והנפלאות שעשה עמו השם וירוממוהו בקהל עם ובמושב זקנים יעלו. And then he's not going to keep the nest to himself. He's not going to keep the miracle that happened to him to himself. Rather, he's going to tell all his friends and all the people he loves, this is what Hashem did to me. I was sick and now I got all better and I'm so happy and Hashem saved me and this would happen and this should have happened, but instead Hashem happened. And they're going to talk about how great and wonderful Hashem is, and Hashem's name is going to be grand and wonderful, and everyone's going to say great and wonderful things about Hashem. The Abarbanel is explaining the reason the shlamim is eaten in such a short amount of time and so many breads is so that the person is forced to give thanks to Hashem. Obviously, when something happens to someone, a miracle happens to someone, someone gets married and wants to be so thankful, bring a Korban Toda. Someone was sick and got better, wants to bring a Korban Toda. Obviously, the person wants to tell everyone how great a miracle just happened to him. But it doesn't always happen right away, right? When something great happens to us, sometimes we're like, okay, yeah, I'll tell, I'm excited about it, but then the excitement peters off at some point. So the thing is, no, it shouldn't peter out. You should give a Korban Toda then and there and right away tell everyone, because you don't have time. You don't have even 2 days to think about this. Everyone's going to have to come that day that you're bringing your Toda, and you have to tell everyone about how wonderful Hashem was and what a miracle Hashem has done for you. And at that point, I want to tie back into Pesach. Let's look at the Rambam in Hilchot Chametz Umatzah, when he talks about Leil HaSeder. Halacha Aleph, mitzvat aseh shel Torah, it's a mitzvah from the Torah, l'saper benisim v'niflaot. You have to tell about the miracles and wonders shena'asu la'avotenu b'Mitzrayim, that what happened to our forefathers in Egypt. Beleil 15 benisan, shne'emar, zachor et hayom hazeh asher yatzatem mimitzrayim. כמו שנאמר, זכור את יום השבת, ומניין שבליל 15 תלמוד אמר, והגעתם למנחה. ביום ההוא לאמור, ועבור זה בשעה שיש מצה ומרור ומונחים לפניו. When are you supposed to say all the wonders and all the miracles that Hashem did for our forefathers? When you have matzah and maror in front of us. What happens if a person doesn't have children? Who is he going to talk to? I mean, maybe an Arab Seder. My Seder this year is going to be very small. It's only my husband and I and our son, who's very little. Don't know how long he's going to stay up for. Who are we going to tell the story to? Even great, very learned people have to tell about Yetziat Mitzrayim. Even though they know about Yetziat Mitzrayim, they still need to tell about Yetziat Mitzrayim. And the more you tell and the more wonderful you say it was, the better it is. The point of Leil HaSeder is to tell the wonders and the miracles that happen at night. The whole point of Leil HaSeder and on your matzah is to say Todah, is to say thank you to Hashem and to mamash bring a Korban Todah. We have two things that are happening in Leil HaSeder. We have Chag Chag HaMatzot, which we are reenacting the Yetziat Mitzrayim. The whole reason we're eating matzah on Pesach is because, right, Hashem wanted us obviously to eat matzah, but also it says that we didn't have time for our bread to rise, and we're bringing our matzahs. We're eating matzahs. We're eating matzahs to reenact the Yetziat Mitzrayim. And we also still have Chag Pesach. Though the Ikar is Chaser Min HaSefer, the most important part of Korban Pesach is missing, the Korban itself, but we still have remnants, you still have echoes of Korban Pesach in that night, where we have the Hodaya, the Shevach, the Lesaper B'Tziat Mitzrayim, the Harbot B'Shirot V'Tishbachot, the Hallel, the Nisim and Niflaot. You should be really giving a thanks to Hashem in that night. So to tie things up, we have a few echoes of Korban Pesach, even though Korban Pesach is not, we don't give a Korban Pesach today when there's no Beit HaMikdash. We still have echoes of Korban Pesach. We first of all have a Kiddush. We have Kiddush at night. We say it at night after nightfall, just like the Korban Pesach was done after nightfall. We cannot do Kiddush before nightfall because of that Korban Pesach. The second point that we raised was the Afikomen. There's a strong minhag to have the Afikomen before Chatzot Halayla, such as the Korban Pesach was eaten until Chatzot, according to Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. So if we do that minhag, we're definitely echoing Korban Pesach. And the last and most important point that comes up over here is the Todah. If you do the minhag of the Rosh by having the three matzahs out of the same amount of flour that was made the Korban Todah, but even without that minhag, we're saying Nisim v'Niflaot, and the more we say, the more we talk about the wonderful things that Hashem did for us in Yetziat Mitzrayim, the more we are giving thanks to Hashem. So I do think we still have part of that Korban Todah on Pesach, even though don't have the chametz, and I think that is the main point of the Korban Pesach, is to give the thanks to Hashem for Yetziat Mitzrayim. If anyone has questions, now's the time to ask them. And I want to wish you Chag Kasher v'Sameach.
Thank you, Rabbi Dvorah.
Thank you, you too. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.